Welcome to 99th Monkey Liberty News for December 2nd, 2013. So many links today and so little time. I'll try to move quickly through. I happened to see this over the weekend and just found it interesting. What the royal family doesn't want you to see. Zion King, and this is almost 3 hours long. I have not watched the entire video, but I believe that there is some valuable information in it. And I also had found this interesting a while ago. Now, this was from fiction. A Scandal in Belgravia. It was a Sherlock episode. The episode depicts Sherlock Holmes' confrontation with Irene Adler, a dominatrix who has compromising photographs taken with a female member of the royal family, and this was a young member, so it is like, okay, I guess this is meant to be Kate. Now, whether this is kind of a hint that, about her character, I don't know. If we believe David Icke, they're all reptilians, so it's not a big stretch to believe that they could be at least immoral. And again, I don't typically do any show business stuff, but I have a few links today that just seemed interesting. I had mentioned Brittany Murphy a little while ago, and here's an article. Brittany Murphy's mother breaks silence, disputes poison claim in emotional open letter. Why I found this interesting and why I mention it is because the comments are, even though this mother is denying that she was poisoned, as the father believes, and they are estranged, of course, there are a lot of comments here that show that on a mainstream media, this is HollywoodReporter.com, even on this website, a lot of the comments reflect the fact that people really are aware that we are being lied to by the media. And I have another showbiz story here. Allegations of foul play surface in death of Fast and Furious star Paul Walker. And there is speculation that, and some indications that this show was going too far in exposing true problems in our country, and that they were warned, and when they did not heed warning, surprise, this guy died. Well, that's not the first time something like that has happened, is it? Benjamin Fulford's blog for the week, and his header blurb is, heavy-duty last-minute negotiations continue. Okinawa, Korea, and Sunni Shia divide remaining sticking points. I found the most interesting thing about Fulford's blog this week, frankly, to be this link that he gave. SEAL Commander says special operations assault on Obama has begun. Do we believe that? I leave that up to you. I'm not sure I do. We've heard this so many times before. But with Congress having a 6% approval rating and Obama on a slide and people really unhappy with what's going on in our nation, I certainly can't rule something like this out, and this article seems to have some credibility, so we'll be keeping an eye on those issues. Here is an article from a blog called Mad in America, Science, Psychiatry, and Community. Why Anti-Authoritarians are diagnosed as mentally ill. And this is a great article. There's a lot of information here, and this might help you to persuade some of your friends, maybe especially the more intellectual ones, that no, you're not really crazy. You are simply an anti-authoritarian, and you are that because you recognize a different authority, that being the Holy God. How's that one? Yeah, that does sound a little crazy, I guess, doesn't it? Here I have an article from Katie Couric, and this is not a typical article for me, but someone alerted me to this, and evidently this is going to be airing on December 4th. The HPV vaccine controversy. and Rosie Perez. So a lot of people have commented on this. This is the reason that I bring this up, is because comments are being made on this site now, and you can very easily leave a comment if you have a Facebook identity. And it's just an interesting flow here. There are a couple of shills, and that's why my friend alerted me, asking me to kind of back her up with some of the shills and trolls, and probably sock puppets. I mean, it's possible some of these people are actually computers that are generating comments, because it's evidently the only thing they have to do is comment on this type of article. But because this is going to be on air, some of the comments will, they are considering the comments. And most of the people who are commenting are very much aware of the dangers of vaccines. Sadly, there are comments from some mothers whose daughters were affected, who were not previously aware of the dangers of vaccines, but certainly who are now, and they have learned the hard way. So if you're bored and looking for something to do, you might want to jump in here in this comment section. And I found a couple of links, but a search term that I used on StartPage that I found helpful was how university studies are funded by drug companies, because the shills always want to take the intellectual high ground, and the mothers, of course, are on the emotional path. And frankly, I give more weight to the emotional path, but that's just the way that I'm wired. So in order to be effective, I think that we need to be able to argue also from the intellectual position. And this search, how university studies are funded by drug companies, yielded some good links. And I really only used one of these links. And interestingly enough, the one that I used did not work in the comments, and I can't even get it to load. Study, doctors wary of research funded by pharmaceutical industry. This is the University of Arizona news, and as I said, I could not get through to this link through clicking on the link. Now, if I clicked on View by Quick Proxy here on StartPage, then I could see the page, and it assuredly is there. But it's covered up, hidden, very difficult to navigate to. And I've been experiencing this. I did a few searches over the weekend using StartPage, which pulls information from Google. And so there were some things that I know are there, that I have accessed in the past, that I did not have difficulty finding in the past. And as I used StartPage and did searches, it was virtually impossible for me to find a few things. Finally, I found a few videos on YouTube for what I was searching for. But I believe, based on my experience, that YouTube is really limiting the search results, and that they are censoring, filtering, and even going through StartPage. I'm not getting the same quality of results from my searches that I used to. And here from Infowars.com is this article: Court orders Google, Microsoft, and Yahoo to make pirate sites disappear. And I'm looking for another search engine to use. The information's all out there on the web, and I'm finding it more and more and more difficult to find what I'm really looking for. And I wasn't looking for these pirate sites, but I cite this article just to bring in the confirmation that yes, they are very intentionally filtering search results, and we are not going to be able to find some of the liberty links and some of the things that might be a threat to people. to the establishment in the future, I think are going to become more and more difficult to find. So my thought is bookmark as much as possible and save as much information as possible on local drives. Here from Infowars.com is another article on the topic. Google is already using SOPA-Like censorship. And this is from January 19th, 2012. So this is almost 2 years ago. This truly is going on. And as I said, I have been personally experiencing it to a much greater degree. I'm very aware that certain searches I do are just not really giving me the accurate results of what's really there on the web. I think some of our sites are probably being censored. And here, for the good news of the day, not all of the news having to do with the stock market is good, but this is from Santu Pearl's Market Commentary. And it's a weekly stock market commentary that an associate of mine does, and you will find these videos on YouTube along with the Pearls of Liberty and the 99th Monkey Liberty News. And the reason I address this week is focus this week are Cryptocurrencies, the new .com stocks from Money Week, the UK's best-selling financial magazine. Following are a few excerpts from the article, and of course I will include the link to this article in the notes and on YouTube in the details section. Here is the excerpt. So what are the risks? Governments are a potential problem. If cryptocurrencies start to present a real threat to fiat money, you can be sure governments will fight them through regulation and taxation. Yeah, but they're slower than we are. They might win the odd battle, but they won't win the war. If you want to corrupt a cryptocurrency and mess it up, you need to control 51% of the mining power. Already it would apparently cost $500 billion in computer power to stage a 51% attack on Bitcoin. And another concern some people have, you often don't know who's behind a coin. It could just be some dude with a computer in Timbuktu. If he decides to pull the plug and turn the website off, there's not a lot you can do about it. So the conclusion is it really is the Wild West out there in cryptocurrency land. This bubble has the potential to be bigger than all of them. Money is involved in every transaction we make. I watched a talk by conservative MP Douglas Carswell at the Russian embassy on Monday night. Carswell, too, is convinced that just as happened with music and books, with retailing and information, digital technology will revolutionize money. Banks and governments will lose their monopoly. So, as I said, that is good news. Thank you for tuning in for today's 99th Monkey Liberty News. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Hoping that you will love one another, take care, and insist on liberty.